Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu tabletop role-playing game rules by Chaos. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. While we try very hard to stick to language for all ages, listeners should know that this podcast may include mature themes. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., that may bear resemblance to entities living or dead, is strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your keeper. Thank you for joining us again for another episode of the Old Ways Podcast. I am your Keeper Michael, and we are back with another of our Masks of Nyarlathotep episodes. We join our investigators in progress while bleeding at their local village bar. We'll get to that in a second, though. So to introduce all of our investigators, we'll go around the table as we always do. To my virtual right.
It's Lonnie. I'm playing Lawrence Edward Oliver Forsyth, and I am not bleeding.
Oh, not yet. Give it time. To his right.
I'm Morgan. I play Lillian Lane, and I am drinking at the bar.
At the end of the table.
I'm Jake. I play Jack Doyle, and I am bleeding at the bar.
You are indeed. To Jack's right.
This is James. I'll be playing Dr. Sigmund Tattenbach, and I'm trying not to get blood all over the place.
Well, that's going to be a little harder than you might imagine. To the doctor's right.
This is Tiffany, and I play Maeve O'Shea, and I think Doyle's going to be a werewolf.
Yeah, this is the part where you tell them you told them so.
Nice.
And last but most certainly not least.
This is Alex. I'll be playing Simon Granger, and I just realized that I have pulp talents.
Wonderful. Okay, so I'd like to thank all of the backers of our show. We greatly appreciate your support for our little adventures, our fun adventures that we're having here. We have a new backer to thank this episode, and that's DJ Shadow Penguin. He is on our Discord server. If you are listening to this episode and you are not a member of the Old Ways Podcast Discord server, I encourage you to come find us. It's in all of our social medias. You can easily find the Discord server and come join us, come chat with us, and then maybe see about joining the Patreon and getting into a little deeper into what we have to offer. So we will start this episode right where we left the last one. Jack on a bar table, bleeding while Sigmund works his medical magic and tries to patch Jack back up. So take it away, gentlemen.
Stop moving around so much, Jack. You're going to make it worse.
So, what do we can tell everybody? Tomorrow morning, I'm going to talk to the sheriff, and he's going to want to know what happened.
You went for a walk.
No, I don't necessarily think that it is going to be out of line for us to make it very clear to the constable that we know that he is not indeed solved this problem. We don't necessarily have to embarrass him in front of the town unless we feel it is necessary, but...
I finish my drink and I turn around and I agree with Simone. We should be upfront with the constable.
There's clearly something very wrong here. Jack has seen it, I have seen it.
Yeah, but we can't just go to the constable and tell him what I saw, because that's not going to work very well.
What did you see, Jack? Can you describe the creature?
It was enormous, and it walked on 2 legs. It looked roughly like a wolf, kind of.
I'm watching the innkeeper.
Yeah, he's definitely paying attention to your section of the pub. There isn't anybody else left. Everybody else has gone home. It's him.
Is he listening to us? Does he seem to be responding to what we're talking about, or does he seem to be minding his business?
He seems to be doing a bit of column A and a bit of column B. He is listening actively listening, you can tell, but he's also minding his own quote-unquote business.
I think the constable's very aware of what's going on around here, as are some of the town people.
Well, what they're willing to admit to and what they privately believe are two different things.
I'm not saying go around town and tell everybody what you saw, but we should probably be honest with the constable.
Does it look like the bartender is listening to us?
I mean, he's in the same room with you. He's not staring anyone down by any means, but he's cleaning up after
Okay.
Customers who've walked out, but he's not...
He's not, like, actively listening, that I can tell.
Right.
What was the barkeeper's name again?
Michael?
He's Michael. Oh.
I tried to make it easy.
That's what she said. All right. Michael?
He looks up from wiping down one of the rails. Yes, Miss Lane.
Do you think I could get a bottle of whatever alcohol you're willing to part with for a little bit in a glass?
If you'd like a drink, I'm happy to pour.
Okay, a drink. Something strong.
Sure.
Thank you.
He goes to the back bar. Because I know that Miss O'Shea is paying attention. You see that he reaches back and pulls a bottle out that's hidden a bit from sight because it's covered up by a bunch of herbs and flowers. And he pours probably 2.5 fingers worth of this amber brown alcohol out of it. There's no label on the bottle.
It's fine. I'm assuming I'm gullible enough to trust him.
Probably.
Yeah.
Here you are.
Thanks. And I put some money on the counter for him. I go take the drink over to Jack and give it to him.
Much obliged.
So you're gonna go out alone next time without us?
I went to go get Simone.
Uh-huh.
I knew he was out there alone, and I didn't want to waste time trying to round up a bunch of other people.
Apparently. At least take a buddy with you. It could have even been foresight.
I mean, if you did not want him to go alone, why did you not go with him?
He snuck out.
I didn't sneak out.
Really? Did you tell anybody?
I was downstairs when I heard the howling, and I went outside.
You heard howling? No, you didn't. I'm just giving you crap because that's what you said to me when I heard howling.
I probably actually look pretty shook after people start talking about the howling again. I will put my glass down and kind of sigh. Perhaps we should move this upstairs so that we can figure out what we are going to do in the morning.
I agree. And I believe Jack can be moved.
I grab the doctor's arm and pull him away to a corner to whisper to him.
Oh my.
Yeah. Just so you're aware, if he was attacked by a werewolf, there's a possibility that he's infected now.
Well, a year ago I would have said that you are crazy, but now I cannot say such a thing. In good conscience. Oh, I will keep an eye on him.
Let's see what his wounds look like in the morning.
Agreed.
Otherwise, we may have to wait till the next full moon. Or tomorrow night.
I hope he's not. Obviously. But from a doctor's standpoint, it would be fascinating.
Sure, to have something else with us all the time that could potentially just, rise up and eat us sounds wonderful.
Well, the threat you know versus the threat you don't,
Sure.
But don't worry, Miss O'Shea, we will keep an eye on him.
Yes.
Wonderful. You guys move it upstairs.
I did make my wolfsbane mixture, correct?
You did.
Okay, I want to make sure that...
Just put some on the wound, then. Should be fine.
And poison him?
Here, this will keep you from becoming a werewolf. And
Because it'll kill you.
and become older. It will prevent a lot of things.
You guys take it upstairs, and Jack, this isn't the worst wound you've had.
Yeah.
It's not comfortable, but after the doctor's treatment and bandaging, it's going to be stiff in the morning for sure.
I'm going to try to remember what I saw.
You saw a big dark shape, and then 2 more join it. You saw what looked like a figure that moved a bit around, like it moved on its haunches. Its legs didn't look right. Like it almost looked like a dog's hind legs.
What about their heads?
Hard to see in all of the darkness. You remember that they didn't look right in the face. There was something about their eyes. They're wide set. Their noses were strange. You don't remember seeing a big, long snout like you'd imagine on an actual dog. But the howling and the claws fit, it definitely fit the picture. You get Jack settled.
So, do we just play it by ear? Deal with the constable in the morning? Or are there some things that we probably need to talk about?
There's always things we need to talk about, but
Perhaps you could tell us what you saw when you were out.
Yeah, I guess I find a chair, sit down, relax for probably the first time tonight since my time in the tree. I was exploring the grounds around the castle, and I managed to make my way into a garden where there was a mausoleum. Something was moving in the bushes, and I heard a howl, and then I heard a couple more, and I saw these creatures. They were scraping at the ground and clawing in front of the door of the mausoleum, howling.
There was more than one?
There were 3 that I could see. I waited until they were gone, and I examined the mausoleum. It did not look like they were trying to break in. The door was, I was able to open it, and I put something in the door so that we can see whether anything is coming in or out. But after that, I left as fast as my feet would carry me. And I ran into the doctor and Forsyth. I did not know that Jack would come looking for me. But we did not see him on the road, which means that he would have had to have taken another path, no?
He must have. We didn't see him.
Probably just missed each other. I didn't go directly up to the castle. I went around on the village road, so maybe that had something to do with it.
Oh, I did not see which way they went after the mess they left on the grounds in front of the mausoleum, but no one in the castle was even responding to the noise that was going on outside. No lights, no people. Everyone was already indoors. Nobody was walking the grounds. They clearly know something. Anyway, I did not get necessarily as close as Monsieur Doyle. If it is not too much to talk about, could you tell us?
Well, like I was saying before, it was big, real big. Like some kind of cross between a man and a wolf. Walked on 2 legs, claws, teeth. It smelled bad, like death.
Morgan, give me an idea roll.
Got a hard success, 31 over 84.
I'm going to send you a message.
And like I said, I shot it 4 times point blank. It took all 4 shots, and it left. It doesn't look like it was leaving because it was too injured. It looked like it was leaving because it had something better to do.
So perhaps its play a bit back too hard, no?
Perhaps. But it didn't seem to slow it down at all.
I look at Maeve, and you said silver is what we need for these?
there's been talk of silver bullets or silver weapons, but there's nothing, really definitive. And where are we going to melt down pure silver?
Well, the question is whether or not we really need to kill these things. If these are people and they live here and they have something to do with the veins, I think there are more than one ways to skin a werewolf, no?
But if they're killing people, why wouldn't you? I don't know.
Why wouldn't I exterminate them? I would, especially in self-defense.
Miss Lane?
So everything up to the point where you were talking about the smell sounds like what we've been described to as werewolves. But the more detail that Jack gives, the more it sounds like a ghoul.
A ghoul?
Yeah, so that's what I dealt with when I went to Miskatonic. And after I dealt with that, that's where I met Jackson Elias, and he helped me come to terms with that.
What is a ghoul?
Can I make an occult roll?
You absolutely can, and so can Miss O'Shea. Actually, anybody with a cult can make the roll.
Good. I want to make the roll.
Oh. And I've completely forgot what I was about to tell you.
Morgan, you do not have to make a roll.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my god.
Wow.
95 out of... Yeah,
This is
What's a
amazing.
I know, right?
That is a clean sweep of every investigator.
I'm calling a mulligan, and I think we should start the game with 7 new cards.
No, that's not the way it works. So quite honestly, most of you have not heard of ghouldom. From the books that you have, Miss O'Shea, you don't remember any references to what a ghoul is. And so you're really looking, actually, to learn from what Miss Lane might know.
Yeah. If it's something I don't know.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'm not going to put words in your mouth. That's not my job. So this is your backstory, Miss Lane. So maybe you could inform them a bit about what happened and what you experienced.
I thought we had talked about this back in the ship.
Sure, but Simon wasn't there.
And you didn't give very much detail, I don't think.
That's true.
It's a wonderful opportunity.
Oh, it's an opportunity.
You did kind of dance around the subject previously, so, I mean...
Sure. When I went to Miskatonic several years ago, I came to discover that the students were holding a ghoul in the basement of the university, and they were feeding the ghoul flesh. Obviously human flesh.
Obviously,
because that's what they eat, is flesh, human flesh. So the ghoul ended up getting out, and I had a run-in with it. We were able to disperse of that. The school ended up just giving the kids a slap on the wrist. They didn't really get in trouble for it or anything. But based on what Jack is saying, is like, it seems like originally that perhaps we were dealing with there was a werewolf problem originally when those people got killed, but what he describes is more ghoul-like. And
because of the smell? Do they look like animals?
They can have a really like deranged type face, like with pointy ears. So the description it sounds to me like almost ghoul-like. But
okay, how do we kill those?
Actually, the way that Elias and you dealt with the situation was that you led the ghoul away, and it was really only after some time getting it corralled. He actually used a type of hunting snare to snare it, that you found that the ghoul could speak and talk, and they reasoned. You and he reasoned with it and found a different path for it.
Did ghouls howl, though?
Yeah, they can howl. Like, we would think werewolves would.
Are they created?
But are they human? Are they people? Is it a temporary thing? Are these just monsters that are roaming the countryside here?
They don't get to turn back into humans. They are, I guess, just what they are.
Are they mystically created?
You and Elias never really came to a conclusion about how they were created, but the students confessed that they had either found or captured it in their search of one of the university's basements, and it was at that point that they basically treated it like a lost puppy, except one that could gnash its teeth and kill people.
The other question I have is, do you know that if somebody is attacked, do they become one?
I don't believe so. I don't think I was ever hurt.
Not that you remember, anyway.
I mean, they can eat you, but then you'll just be dead.
So you think it's a ghoul because it smells bad and because
of the description that Jack gave of it. I mean,
the description I heard sounded like a werewolf.
Yeah, he said it stands on 2 feet. Jack, was it really super hairy?
There was a bit of hair along its upper shoulder ridges, at least that you saw, but now that you're thinking back to the moments, when it swung its arms at you, you don't remember them being significantly hairy. You remember them being powerful, but not what you would consider hairy.
So, yeah, I guess not terribly hairy, no.
Okay.
Mike, do I remember where ghouls stay during? I'm assuming they don't come out during the daytime because they're monsters of the night. But where they like to live at, based on my discussion with the ghoul at Miskatonic?
What little you have gained from that moment in time, is under quite a bit of also repressed emotions and mental memories. It was not a pleasant time to be dealing with the face-to-face reality of a ghoul, nor being hunted by it, which is what happened just east of the school when you and Jackson dealt with it. So you didn't have any long conversations with it. You passed a few words, and Elias was able to convince it to essentially roam somewhere else.
Okay. So, I guess I wouldn't know where to begin looking, but Jack, you saw it over by the castle, correct?
Yeah, off the road to the castle.
And Simone, you left something. I think you already mentioned it. You left something in the door propped open.
Yes, in front of the mausoleum.
I wonder if we need to go searching through there during the daylight.
Well, so
I didn't say it was a perfect plan, but non-perfect plans apparently also involve going out by yourself and getting swiped at by a ghoul.
well, Mademoiselle Lane was successful, no, in securing an invitation to the castle.
Yes. They haven't called and told me what time yet, though. But it is supposed to be tomorrow, or I don't know what time it is, but yeah.
It's past 11.
Yeah, we deal with the constable in the morning and deal with the veins as long as the sun is in the sky, no?
That sounds good.
And I believe it is probably in our best interest to do so without pointing any fingers right away. And even if we find out that they are there, I suppose we can figure out what to do if that is the case.
I wonder if we'd be able to find a blood trail tomorrow morning to go back to where Jack shot that creature.
It should not be hard to find. If we cannot find the big chest blood, we should at least find Jack's.
That's true.
I wonder if there are catacombs under the castle.
Which room are we in currently? I'm guessing we're in the...
You're in the gentleman's room.
Okay. Oh, that's right, because Jack is laying down. Then I'm going to kick off my shoes and I guess get into my bed.
That seems like a perfect time to exit. You feel that, Miss Lane, pretty quickly. If people are starting to lay down in bed, it's probably time to go.
All right, I will go back to my room and also change my clothes and get into bed.
Wonderful. So you all rest for the most part. Some of you a bit fitter than others. And morning arrives on the village in a very pleasant and calm way. There is a wonderful spread of breakfast that Alice has put out. All sorts of treats and meats are available.
I follow down behind Miss Lachey.
Alice says that if you'd like some coffee, she can make some, although they don't really make it here very much. Jack, when you wake up, you're definitely sore. But it seems that the doctor's done a fair good of work.
As he usually does.
I will offer Jack some fresh bandages.
No, thank you.
Wake up, get dressed, and amble my way downstairs.
Breakfast is served. The group either gets to it or forgoes it, depending on what they would like to do. But it isn't long in the morning until the constable arrives at the Laughing Horse Inn.
I was going to be waiting outside while the group was eating breakfast because I know he's coming.
Oh, absolutely. You can see him coming a mile away. Full head of steam, too. He approaches the inn and nods at you. I assume your man's awake?
Yes, I believe they are eating breakfast right now. Perhaps we can adjourn somewhere that is not necessarily the inn. Do you not have an office or a place nearby?
He kind of screws up his features a little bit. Do you presume to tell me what to do?
No, I am simply hoping that we can do what we need to do and discuss what we need to discuss without necessarily raising more alarms than we did last night.
Wasn't I who brought a pistol.
If he hadn't brought that pistol, there's a chance we'd be down one man.
He turns the handle on the door and heads inside.
Going behind him.
He heads to the bar.
I don't follow him all the way. I will break off and go back to the group as he goes past then.
He nods to both Alice and to Michael, and they put a plate out for him. You can see he seems to keep it fairly reasonable, and sits down to eat, and kind of just keeps his field of vision where he can see Jack. He kind of hunkers over his plate a bit, as if he's a crab on the beach waiting to click and clack at anything he can get his hands on.
Monsieur Doyle, if you could do the constable or servers and chew your food very slowly.
You all progress through breakfast. Eventually, the constable finishes up. Jack, if you have not finished by this time, he does approach the table.
Yeah, I'm sure I've finished by now.
He says, if you'd come outside with me, that'd be fine.
Yeah, no problem.
He marches outside.
I'll look at Jack and see whether or not he indicates that he wants backup.
No, I'm good.
Once the two of you are outside, you can see that the village is just still kind of moving about the morning. This is a farming community, so most of the people have been up for at least a couple of hours. But he takes you aside and around the corner of the inn towards the pathway that leads to Castle Plum. Now, why don't you and I agree that we're going to keep this story here in the village, all right?
Absolutely.
Now, every man's more than able to carry something if he needs to defend himself, but we can't have the village feeling like it's turned into a war zone. Tell me where you saw it and what happened, and the rest I will handle.
My friend Simone had gone out walking last night. I was sitting in the bar having a drink, and I heard howling. Now, obviously, we all know the stories here, so I went looking for him. I followed the village road up to the castle, and I was ambushed by something.
Ambushed, you say?
Yeah. It attacked me before I even got a good look at it at first. Laid into me, and I was able to pull my pistol and fire several rounds at it, point blank.
So, I gotta ask, did it look like a big dog?
I'm gonna be perfect. I'm gonna be honest with you right now, and that was no dog. I don't know what the hell it was, but it wasn't a dog.
He looks a little worried. I will do my duty and continue the investigation. Just, I'd ask that if any of the village here comes to you and wants to snoop their nose into your business, that you tell them that you're going to keep it to yourself.
I will do so.
Last thing we want is more stories.
Exactly. Do you want me to show you? I should take you out there and show you where it was at?
Aye, please.
All right.
You head out to the grove area and see just along the path there where you think the attack happened at. Those of you who are in the Laughing Horse Inn can see Jack and the constable walk down the path again. There's several windows in the inn, so it's not hard to see where they go. When you get down there, Jack, you can see the ground where the attack happened. You can see that the grass here is still messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Looking around, just the two of you, you do see that some of the grass here is still stained with something. It's hard to tell whether or not it's blood specifically, but that your, trained war eye and investigative eye is fairly certain that it is.
That's where I was laying. That's where he clawed me.
So I gotta ask, what were you doing in the field this late at night?
Well, I went looking for my friend.
And so that beggars the question, what was he doing out here?
Well, he had gone for a walk, and obviously we missed each other because he came out with the rest of the villagers. I wish I had known he was on his way back already, or I wouldn't have made our way out here.
I'll do my best to take a look around here and see if I can find any trace of it. How long are you and your group planning on staying?
Probably not more than a couple of more days. I know Miss Lane wants to talk to the Vanes about horse racing or something like that.
If I can suggest, just be quick about it.
Mm-hmm.
This village doesn't need any more deaths, any more stories.
Well, for your sake, I hope it wraps up quickly.
He nods at you and then seems to gather his notebook and pen and begins moving off towards where you'd said that the creature went. Because you only know of the one.
Right. Hey, Mike, so I can kind of remember. I have a much better idea of what happened here last night than he does.
Oh, yeah.
Where was that creature standing?
Not far from where you're at right now, maybe 3 or 4 yards there by the tree. It looks like it used a combination of the tree and the hedge nearby to basically camouflage itself.
Mm-hmm.
It knew exactly what it was doing. So just looking at the tactics of the situation, this is a move that you might have used or seen used in the war. It's a perfect spot to
ambush somebody.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to go check out that spot.
Okay, I'll get back to you in a second. Back at the inn, I suppose the question is to you, Miss Lane. What is your timing plan for today?
Well, I haven't received any notice from the butler from the Vanes. He was supposed to call me back here at the Laughing Horse and let me know what time Lord Vane would be able to see me.
Yeah, you figure it's a little after 8, so maybe the call will come relatively soon. It might not be a bad idea if you are going to go to dinner or lunch or even have some sort of meal there. It might not be a bad idea to get cleaned up before that happens.
You mean I can't wear pants?
I didn't say that. You can wear dress or pants or whatever you like, but
no, I will.
You and your compatriots might need to clean up a bit because he's a member of the House of Lords. He's a pretty politically powerful person, and you don't want to go in there smelling like, well, last night's midnight romp through the hedge.
Some of us didn't get to do that.
You wait your turn.
Is Jack back yet? Or is he still out with the constable?
Yeah, he hasn't returned just yet.
Okay. I look to the rest of the group, and so we should probably put on something fairly respectable if we're going to go see Lord Vane today, and maybe clean up a little bit.
I give myself a quick sniff.
Oh no, you do. Don't worry.
Yeah, she's not wrong.
It's my traveling clothes.
I head upstairs to go run a bath wait, is the bath in the hallway?
Yeah, there's a single bathroom here, which has a large, long, white clawfoot tub, and then obviously the privy, or the actual toilet.
Is it in a enclosed room, though? It's not like sitting in the hallway or anything?
No, it's in an enclosed room, yes. Yeah. No, it's right in the stair. It's right on the stairway.
You never know.
You're free and open to all the new people who come in.
They're not savages.
I go to go clean myself up then first.
So what are the rest of you doing?
I'm waiting for since Jack and the constable have been gone for a while, I'll probably just go hang out outside. We can't all use the wash at the same time.
No.
Can't or
I'm
shouldn't.
going to sit at the doctor's going to sit at the bar and maybe grab a bite to eat while we're waiting for everything to get going, and maybe a quick drink, and then be ready to go.
You do. So if you would like to make a Cthulhu Mythos roll aided by the books, you might be able to obtain some knowledge.
Okay.
You would just have to tell me which book you're going to use. You have Swift's book has a considerable bonus to occult if you want to roll it on occult.
Yeah, he might have something in there. I'll look at that one. Occult. Let's see if I can fail that again.
Pretty epic failure last time.
Yeah, what the heck? Yep. Well, I will spend...
Well, hang on a second, though. That percentage on the Swift book has 8. So if you're using his as a guide, that's technically a 91.
Oh, okay. So 89 out of 91.
Yeah, there are some references to ghouls within Swift's tome. they're mostly passing mentions of it, but he does, in a couple of points, juxtapose a ghoul's ability to absorb physical pain and torment as something that he admires. And he goes into great detail about how ghouls have the ability to shrug off otherwise powerful attacks. He mentions that the family back east kept several of them in an upstairs bedroom, which led to an attic. And they fed them flesh from a local graveyard because the ghouls preferred the flesh of dead men.
Cool. Okay.
That's what you learn. That's your after breakfast education.
Woo! I will keep looking through books.
Okay.
For a while.
So, Lawrence.
We have a dinner date today sometime. I will make it as ready as possible for when that happens.
You get a knock on the door probably about a half an hour later, Miss Lane, and it's Alice's voice, and you hear her. You're out of the tub by this point, and you hear her say, Miss Lane, you have a caller?
I will be right down. I finish getting ready and putting my hair up and go downstairs.
You finish up and, put your hair up quick and then head back downstairs. You see the innkeeper's wife standing there with the telephone and the candlestick. Here you are.
Thank you. I take the phone and this is Miss Lane.
Yes, Miss Lane. You can hear the voice of the butler. It would very much please Lord Vane if you would be willing to attend dinner this evening with him.
Absolutely. Would it be okay if my compatriots came along as well?
Of course. How many seats should I set for?
Altogether, 6 of us.
It should be wonderful to have that many visitors. I shall make the arrangements.
Great, I appreciate it. And we will see you for dinner around what time is best?
5 p.m.
Fantastic. We will be there then.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
He hangs up the phone.
What time is it, anyways?
It's around about 10, so we'll flash to Jack really quick. Jack, what other investigations are you hoping to do out there?
Well, I just wanted to kind of see what I could find, if I could find anything, any physical evidence why I was there.
You do find a couple of trees that have some fairly significant claw marks, but unfortunately, it would be fairly easy to write them off as just animal markings. They're not really deep or big enough to suggest otherwise.
Right. Okay. Then I'll head out.
Okay. You head back. Everybody else gets cleaned up, I would imagine. Simon, you see Jack come back.
Did the constable have anything enlightening to say?
He just wants to try to keep this as quiet, not disrupt anybody.
I'll nod. It seems that it seems to be the general approach, no? Don't ask, don't tell. We will need to find an excuse to inspect the grounds at the estate.
Well, the doctor walks with a cane. Jack was recently attacked. Moment of air would be good for both of them, don't you?
I am no doctor, but that sounds like a suitable prescription to me.
I look over at Jack and Simone and gentlemen, we have dinner plans 5 p.m. sharp.
We should probably keep the conversation to horses for a time, no?
Yes, let's not jump right into do any of your family members eat anybody. So, at least after dessert.
Until we become the dessert.
Oh, so that's just not. Let's not go there. And maybe this evening we can have a buddy system and not go running off by ourselves.
To be fair, I did not run there. I ran back. And I'll go upstairs and wash up.
And I was talking to both of them and that, I just shake my head and I turn around and go back upstairs.
Is anyone doing anything before the 5 o'clock dinner?
I got nothing.
Evening arrives slowly but surely as the investigating crew gathers together to prepare for the trek up to Castle Plum. It's not nightfall by any means just yet. It's still a bit early. You're probably going to head up around 3:30 or just about 4:30. And you begin your walk. Now, the one thing I'd like to just kind of make sure we're aware of is anybody planning on bringing foul tools that I need to be aware of?
So about that.
I bring my bag with the Wolf's Bane mixture in it. I mean, it's not like displayed or anything, but I have my satchel.
Foul tools.
I bring my handgun.
You bring your handgun. Okay, very well.
I am not... Well, I don't have a whole lot of clothes, so I'm... Considering the condition everything's in, I think I'm going to have to ditch my top coat and just go, like, shirt and suspenders and pants, so no weapons, like, no arsenal, but I will have my my satchel with me that just kind of has my tools in it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it. I don't have, like, a pistol or... I mean, I guess I have a hunting knife on me, but it's in my boot.
Okay. And anyone else?
I am not bringing anything because, well, I'm wearing an evening dress, which goes just like an emerald, like flapper type evening dress. So I can't fit an axe, like a hand axe, anywhere in there, and my shotgun.
Oh, I bet you could.
Really, could do it like a thigh holster. Yeah.
You're not trying hard enough.
I think I need maybe a little bit smaller of a hand axe.
There's a hatchet in the third petticoat.
That's true. I could probably do a hatchet as a
could.
thigh holster. Yeah, but I probably not for this.
Okay. You head up the rather long road and ramp 200 feet above the village floor. You get a wonderful view of the village and its surrounding areas. The castle is fairly impressive. It looks a little bit more like a Victorian mansion than a castle nowadays, although you can tell that the crenellations that are atop it do harken back a bit to several centuries before. And you get received at the front door by the staff. They welcome you into the castle.
I walk up to the gentleman that I'm assuming is the gentleman I talked to on the phone with the tuxedo type suit on, and extend my hand to him and introduce myself as I'm Lillian Lane. I believe we spoke on the phone.
Oh, we did. He gives you a very courteous bow, takes your hand. He doesn't do anything with it, but he just takes it for a moment and then releases it. I'm Giles. Give me but a moment, and he turns almost as if on cue back towards the castle itself, and the doors open up, and you see an older gentleman who strikes quite a picture here. His well-appointed suit, he has all manner of accoutrements and medals even as he walks among the outer area of the castle. As he makes his way towards you, you see that the servants here stiffen almost at his approach.
I watch him very carefully.
He definitely knows his social power. There's definitely an air about him as if he is certain of himself. He doesn't lack for any sort of confidence.
As we're making our way through, I'm kind of making a show of looking after the doctor, like helping him along, kind of, finger on his elbow, just kind of helping him watch his step.
Sure. This older man, bald plate, he's got a heavy kind of walrus mustache. He's definitely in formal attire. And then you see at his right is a young man that you met, Jack. You see Lawrence, his son. He extends his hand to you, Miss Lane, and almost picks up where Giles left off. Miss Lillian Lane, is it?
It is.
I am Lord Arthur Vane. Welcome to Castle Plum.
Thank you for having us, Lord Vane. We appreciate the invitation to dine with you.
Well, it isn't very often that we get such prestigious guests from the Americas. It's quite something. I'm somewhat familiar with your father's work, and his knowledge of horse breeding and equestrian activities is known to those in the realm here who work in those circles.
Well, I'd be happy to discuss that with you over dinner.
Well, we shall see. He gives you a pleasant but reserved smile. It isn't really until you move into Castle Plum that you realize that someone was along for the journey, kind of hidden back behind Lawrence. She's a very striking-looking young woman. She has shoulder-length blonde hair that she keeps brushed out. She has blue eyes. She's rather slim. She's taller. She's almost as tall as Lawrence is, actually. So she's probably about 5'10", 5'11". But she's socially very reserved.
Is she watching us?
She's not watching you, per se, but she's walking along as the group of you head into the dining area. As you get into, they begin showing you your seats, and Lord Vane speaks up and says, this is my son, oldest son, Lawrence. I believe some of you may have met him. He's gets out to the village, and this is my daughter, Eloise. She nods and sits down next to her brother. So when you guys came in, you go through a couple of double doors, and since you had been near the castle and around its gardens, you can tell that when you went in, you moved directly through the castle, and then you went to the right. And it's at that point when you go to the right, you can tell through the windows, because you guys walk through a rather expansive study into the formal dining room. And it's when you get to the formal dining room, Simone, that you notice there are two French doors at the end of the formal dining room.
The gardens.
And that's when your heart skips a beat. And then you come back to reality.
Yeah, I'd probably drop a fork on a plate, do something awkward.
So, tell us, what brings you to Derby?
A friend of ours recently passed away, and we were just finishing up some of his last wishes.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope that is easy for all of you. It's never easy to lose someone.
It isn't. But thank you.
The service begins for food. In succession, you will be served tonight an hors d'oeuvres. They put out pate, they put out fish, and then the main course tonight is steak. So some of you might note that the steak here is served very rare. And then for dessert, you're given plum pudding. And then you notice, Sigmund, that there is a pretty fine selection of cheeses here.
Wunderbar. It has been a long time since I've had a good cheese plate.
This cheese is, it's probably just as strong as you might get back home. They have done their research. They know good cheese. So, why don't you introduce me to the rest of your compatriots, Miss Lane?
Absolutely. I'm sorry I did not do that in the first place. That was awfully rude of me. Who's sitting closest to me?
I am.
Oh, of course he is.
You can't shoot him in the back if he's close to you.
Fantastic. I point to, I'm assuming to my right. Right, don't point. I, gesture slightly to my right. This is Mr. Forsyth, also an American. Next to him, the doctor. Next to him is Mr. Jack Doyle. He is a private investigator.
A pleasure.
Next to him is Maeve O'Shea.
Lawrence Vane speaks up and says, Miss O'Shea, what do you do?
Study... How do I say this? Oddities?
It's fascinating. It's wonderful, the age that we live in, where we can just dive into whatever we like.
And next to Miss O'Shea is Simone Granger.
I'm doing my absolute best to not just like face palm right there at the dinner table.
So here's what I'll do for you, Miss Lane, because I know that you're far more eloquent when you'd like to be. If you would like to make a charm roll, to see how this all goes over, that might help.
I'm probably a little nervous because I gotta bullshit my way through dinner. 47 out of 65.
So, as strange as it might have sounded to us, it seems that Miss Lane's introductions went over fairly well. Actually, Lawrence Vane turns to you, Simone, and he asks in French if you're from France.
I have spent plenty of time there, yes. I would not say that I've lived my entire life.
Well, it's wonderful to have you all here. So, regale me, Miss Lane, of your father's equestrian tales.
Just before I left the States to come over to Europe, he had just purchased a new stallion for breeding. The bloodline of the new thoroughbred that he has is outstanding, and he does plan on not only breeding this stallion, but also racing him as well.
Of course.
Do you watch much of the races?
Well, when I can get to them, yes. Unfortunately, my time in the country is sometimes spent in London dealing with matters.
Of course. That sounds very interesting.
Well, it's something of a matter of requirement when you're someone in our role. It's an important part of the governance of the country.
I can only imagine. Do you get to get out and ride very much?
Not as much as I would like to, but my riding facilities are closer to London. Land here isn't prepared yet for the stabling of horses.
Have you been here at the castle long, or?
Well, it's our family's castle.
Of course.
Miss O'Shea, you notice Eloise get up in the middle of the meal, like when the servants are bringing back and forth several different courses and clearing plates. She gets up and just kind of quietly excuses herself, where Lord Vane just gives her a very quick and simple nod, and she immediately exits the room.
I'm going to take out my pocket watch, kind of look at it, and look at the doctor, and kind of like clear my throat. Doctor, is it not time for your... Let's keep the hips moving, no? I'll scoot out from my chair, help him out of his.
If you will excuse me, Lord Vane, I am needing a brief constitutional. I was wounded in the war, and I need to stay mobile.
Oh, of course. Perhaps we could adjourn to the library, he points in one of the directions.
I'm like, library?
What a wonderful idea.
If you would like us to pace the library, I suppose that is something we could do.
Well, you'd have an opportunity to get him up a few stairs. That might help unstiffen that leg. He stands up.
I just kind of like smile awkwardly at the doctor.
The library sounds wunderbar.
As they're heading up the stairs, just kind of look at Simone and shrug a little.
I kick the doctor down the stairs.
Scheiße.
You all quietly adjourn to the library.
As we're walking to the library, do I see her anywhere? Because I will be looking for her.
Yeah, so while you're moving through, because you guys have to come from the back of the castle towards the front of it again, and then up the stairs. There's quite a bit of movement to get to the second floor, which is where the library is at, I believe. No, wait, it's on the first floor. So you guys, have to cross the Great Hall. You see her going up the second flight of stairs, Miss O'Shea, and she looks like she's moving fairly quickly.
Do I think that I would be able to break away from the group to follow her without being noticed?
That's a wonderful question. Would you like to make a stealth roll?
Sure.
I will give you advantage on the roll because you are likely near the back of the group.
Right.
And all the eyes are pointed in the different direction.
But that's a 10 out of 20.
Roll hard success. Would anybody else like a spot hidden versus her hard success?
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
You can take your
Sure.
spot hidden. I will roll for the veins.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Doctor with the extreme success. Oh,
I
and
see
Jack.
nothing.
All right, so Jack is a 2 out of a 92, so he definitely sees it happen.
The doctor.
Doctor and Jack, you see Miss O'Shea far more unobtrusive than you can remember her ever being. She slips to the right, and she is out of sight. Okay, Miss O'Shea, we'll keep the camera with you for the moment. So you slip away and up the stairs and find yourself on the upper floor of Plum Castle. Where are you headed to?
Do I know in what direction Eloise moved to?
Just moving up the stairway here, you get to the landing and the balcony, and it appears that she could have really only gone a couple of different places. It looks like this upper floor of the castle is kind of subdivided into 4 different parts. You were imagining that this is likely where the Vanes sleep.
Oh, so it looks like rooms and stuff?
It looks like a hallway, or 2 hallways, that go to 2 sets of bedrooms. And you hear from your right-hand side, you hear a door shut.
I will turn that direction.
Okay. You head down that direction, or turn that direction, and head towards that way. You see that there are 2 doors at the end of the hall, one on the left and one on the right.
Do I hear anything from either room?
Give me a listen roll.
58 out of 20.
You listen for a bit, and you're not truly certain which door she would have gone in. You get it in your head that it's basically a coin flip.
Well, yeah, the thing is if they're rooms, I don't really want to, barge into her room. I had a good excuse if she was just, headed somewhere else, but... So I guess I will, go back to the group.
Okay. Camera back on the group then. Those of you in the library are greeted by a wide sweeping library. Shelves from floor to ceiling. And it almost feels like you're back in the Carlisle mansion, for that matter. Very similar appointments. Lots of heavy dark woods, leather seating. Lord Vane offers you all your choice of cigars or pipe tobacco.
Thank you.
When I slip back in, I'm gonna start looking at the bookshelves, so it'll be like they didn't really notice I wasn't there because I didn't sit down.
When you slip in and head towards the towards the right, so you can get to books as if you were perusing them, you hear Lord Vane say, "Mr. O'Shea, did you find everything okay?"
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Miss Lane, beyond your father's equestrian habits, I find it strange that you're here this far north into Derby. So why don't you tell me what your friend, what he needed resolved?
I look down at my hands for a second, and then I place them behind my back, and I look at Lord Vane, and our friend didn't ask so much as had wanted to inquire about an incident here, but was unable to do before his death, of the incident where the large animal killed those individuals not so long ago.
Really? Well, you're in luck then. The constable has dealt with the creature.
I'm afraid that's not true.
Really? He sits forward in his chair.
I myself was attacked by this creature last night.
You see him look over to Lawrence, his son. Truly. Well, you seem to have fared well enough to make the trip up.
Yes, just a bad scrape from its claws. I'm surprised you didn't hear it. It was actually not that far from the castle. I had to fight it off with a gun.
I heard nothing here. Lawrence, he turns to his son. Did you hear gunshots last night? See, Lawrence looks as surprised as his father. I didn't hear any gunshots. You said you shot it. Is it dead?
No. I shot it 4 times, and it left, but it was not slowed down at all.
Hey, Mike, can I get a psychology roll on Lord Vane?
You absolutely can.
Talking to Lawrence, and hopefully one on Lawrence. I want to see I want to try to piece together what they're thinking about.
So you're going after Lord Vane first?
Yep, 28 under 75.
Okay. Give me 1 second,
Yep.
Tiff, and I'll be with you.
Okay.
Your read on Lord Vane is that he's not being entirely accurate with you. Or Jack, for that matter. And he is definitely using a lot of well-worn levers. I didn't hear anything. We didn't see anything. The problem's been dealt with. This is a diatribe you've heard before here.
Right.
So when you pick up on him doing it, you pick up on not just the party line, so to speak, that the village uses, but you're hearing it from the font which dispenses that.
This is the fountainhead, yeah, that all of that is coming from.
Right.
Right.
So your question, Miss O'Shea?
Was if they had any books of any interest, like to what we are looking for.
There's probably, I don't know, a 1,000 books in here. So
Well, sure, I'm gonna peruse some, but I'm just saying, like, let me know if I come across any that seem interesting.
yeah, I mean, you can make a library use roll if you'd like. If you're completely turning your back on the conversation and focusing on the books, which is totally in your wheelhouse,
Mm-hmm.
you're welcome to make a library use roll.
56 out of 89.
Okay. You find a book on North England folklore. It seems to be fairly well worn. There don't seem to be any occult books here per se, but there are a couple of here that seem to be interesting. You see one which seems to be a handwritten journal.
Okay.
On the front cover, it says "History of the Vanes."
Yes, like I said, it was quite a harrowing evening.
I'm terribly sorry that's happened to you. Hopefully, your quick wit and weapon have dealt a blow to this creature.
Perhaps. Don't think too much about it. I'm well experienced in finding unusual things and dealing with them.
There's a roll of thunder and a crack of lightning.
If I may ask, if you did not hear the bullets from nearby, did you hear the howling?
Howling? No. We hear things occasionally, but it's tough to tell with this drafty old castle. Sometimes it's the wind.
Can I look in that journal and see, like, peruse anything that catches my eye?
You can make a language English roll.
I get a bonus die. 4 out of 78.
So you learn a couple of things relatively quickly just by scanning a few pages. One, this text is going to take you a couple of hours, maybe at least an hour to discern. You also discern just by the first few pages that it's a diary of Edgar Vane. And the first date that you come across seems to put this journal somewhere in the 16th century.
Okay. Never mind then. Keep moving on. Oh, I was going to look in the folklore book. Does it have anything on ghouls in it? Like, I mean, like, if I'm, like, looking at the table of contents, does it talk about certain creatures?
There's no real table of contents. It's more pictures and then the text beside the picture.
Okay.
It's too old to be a traditional index.
Okay.
There's another roll of thunder, and then a significant change in the air pressure in the room.
I'm going to take my pocket watch out and see what time it is.
It's about 7:30 by this point, so it's definitely dark by now.
perhaps we should be heading back to town before the weather gets too bad.
I just kind of look around at the rest of the group.
It might not be a bad idea.
What's Babe doing? Chilling with a book?
She seems to be perusing a few different books.
I will wander over to her.
Mm-hmm.
Since I'm assuming that, like, she's kind of absorbed, I will put myself in her peripheral vision rather than just, like, tap her on the shoulder.
Right.
Yes.
Is there anything good?
Not really. Not that I can find. I don't know if any of these books are my kind of books.
What is she looking through? Like, what? She's created, like, a bit of a pile.
No, I put them back.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's really only seen a few books. It's really at the point of you going over and just kind of inspecting a few things and the conversation dimming a bit with Vane and Jack that you hear a clear call through the air. And it is pitched up and then higher and higher, rising on the air. It shakes its way through the masonry of Castle Plum. The howl is unmistakable. And that's what we call it tonight. And so I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us this session. It was a ton of fun, and we look forward to seeing you once again next week for more adventures through Masks of Nyarlathotep. So have a wonderful night, everyone.